Welcome, my name is Matt, aka Road Jedi 88. We are getting into Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes 9.2 for the day. First thing I'm going to do is check in to my web store for my dailies to add into my personal account, my main account. What we're going to do, given where I'm at the moment, I'm going to do is what I got. We're going to quit what we got earlier through here, but we're going to look at the mods now, okay? Given where I'm at with what I have to work with, I'm going to have to do two at a time. We have already started with Hera and Eighth Brother, right? So let's take a look at Anakin Skywalker's mods and Ben Kenobi's mods. So over here, we are going to look at old Ben first and see what mods they recommend. They are recommending speed and potency. Now, like I mentioned yesterday or earlier, potency isn't one you see pop up too often, but it does. Old Ben apparently is one. He also requires speed. 4 speeds and 2 potencies. We already need some more speeds anyways. Who was it for? Eighth Brother that we were setting this up with. So we're already going to have to get some more speed mods. The other that I mentioned. No, you know what? We don't have Anakin Skywalker all the way up like that now. Who do we have? Was it Seventh Sister? Yeah. Let's look at Seven Sisters mods. Let's see what we can do for her. Health and speed. So we're going to need a lot of speed, a little bit of potency for Old Ben, and health for Seven Sister. Now let's get into the game. While we're in the game, we need to do our dailies. Although I think I might have already done that earlier last night. Because it was past midnight. So if I already did that, then we just have events to look at. Anything that has reset, which would be the Coliseum as well. Events, possibly. If no battle tiers have opened up for us, then we're going to work on just building up our characters. At the moment, we'll look at the mods, and that's what our focus is going to be. Also, I'm going to try to get that account into a guild, if I actually can this time. And if I can, preferably the one my main account's already in, assuming my guild leader has no problems with that. So, let's get into the guest account. Real quick, while I'm in my main account, I'm looking at the Guild War. I want to show you a quick example. I tried showing you about defense earlier in one of the previous videos about the setting up the defense aspect. Setting up for you want your front lines the best you can. As I mentioned, we can't see past the front line. It looks like we had some more players, put in some more defense. Hopefully, whatever we contributed. Let's see if the squads I put in are still standing. Yeah, the one I have in that lineup is still standing so far. This initiated about noon Central Time for me. I don't know about anyone else. And okay, well, my Inquisitors got taken out. And it looks like they did it in one battle. Damn. Well, I tried, you know. I still pitched in. Hopefully that's taken into account. We are going to look into, see if there's anyone on the offense side. Or on the other side. Our opponent's defense side. Let me get my phrasing correct. We're gonna let's see if there's anyone we might stand a chance against. And they're pretty powered up. Damn, they're strong. I gotta give them credit. This isn't for a lack of trying. Let's see. Did I miss anything up here? Because there was a lot more. My Darth Vader, I held on to him for a reason. But they got some level 9 relic amplified characters too. And those Phoenix squads can be pretty brutal, especially when you got Rex on that team. I'm not too familiar with the Gungans yet. I've yet to go up against one, but they have a Datacron on them too. It's only powered up. It's only powered up to level 5 on that, so it's not in full effect. That one's powered up 2 levels, or level 6. It's not at full effect for those Bad Batch clone troopers. Man, I honestly don't think I stand much of a chance anywhere. I really don't. Yeah, the Phoenix is a beast. I can give it a shot with the Gungans. I'm not comfortably familiar with them. I don't trust that Jedi squad. I don't trust going up against any of the Phoenix squads. Those Bad Batches are looking pretty tough. The ones with Anakin and Din Djarin up at level 9 and stuff, those are going to be some tough ones. They are going to be brutal. So I may be at a loss here, but I'm still a part of the guild. I still have an obligation to pitch in my participation where I can. And even if I don't defeat the squad, hopefully maybe I can help weaken them a little, and maybe someone else in my guild can step in and do a little more damage to them. Kind of splinter them down a bit, if nothing else. So let's see what happens. I have to admit, I'm not feeling comfortable about this. And those Datacrons, already, yeah. Damn, that's what I was afraid of. My Darth Vader's still holding, but no, not anymore. Darth Vader just got taken out by a squad of primitives. That is embarrassing. And my Darth Vader's up at a level 9 relic amplified tier with his mods all buffed up. That was embarrassing. That Datacron may have had a element of an effect to it. Man, get your ass kicked as hard as you can, Darth Vader. Jeez, by a bunch of primitives too. Because that's not embarrassing at all. So much for being the strongest force user in the galaxy. I'm just kidding. Alright, well, I did what I could. I am sorry that it wasn't effective. I didn't even get a hit in. Jeez. But it is what it is. I already knew right off the bat I didn't stand a chance with any of the others. I knew it right off just looking at them. But now I know what the Gungans can do. I know what they're capable of now. I didn't know before, but now I do. Jeez. Because 5 years ago when I was on here, I don't think we had any Gungans yet. They might have just barely been introducing boss knights. They might have had Captain Tarpoles. I don't remember if we had Jar Jar yet. We might have had Jar Jar. But that was 5 years ago, and I remember in one of my guild chat debates, we were kind of discussing characters we would love to be able to see brought in the games, and Gungans, oddly enough, was actually one of them that some of us were pointing out, was not seen enough of. You could have a whole squad of Chewbacca's, veteran Chewbacca, Vander Chewbacca, Clone War Chewbacca. You can have a whole squad of Chewbaccas, but there was like no sets of Gungans or anything. So, yeah, it is what it is. All right, so real quick, before I forget, because as I'm getting older, my mind does slip. Old Ben, it was potency and speed, correct? Correcto mundo? See? All right. So, potency and speed, what do we have? We have a potency right there. Speed, we need 4 speeds, 2 potencies. What do I have? Well, I need 4 speeds, so let's go ahead and get a second one there. Let's take a look at Seven Sister, right? See? Señoras, señoritas, and I'm not Hispanic, I'm German, Irish, American, but I do live in Texas, so lots of it. All right. So, health and speed was her thing. I got plenty of health. We need more speed. Not that kind of speed. Mod speed. So we got a pair of health already in effect for her in a mod build-up. That's good. That's what we want. Confirm. Let me take a look at some other factors, like our quests. Check-in, daily squad arena rewards. Of course, when we get the fleet battles, we'll get fleet rewards as well daily. That's for your ranking. When you are ranking up higher, getting yourself ranked more and more in the squad arenas and the fleet arena battles, you get rewards. In my time zone, Central Time Zone of United States of America, it is about 5 p.m., I believe, when I see the squad arenas, and then 6 p.m., I believe, when I see the fleet arena daily rewards. So, definitely want to see that. When we get into the Coliseum, we're now going up against these two beasts. A little token to go towards the shipment store later on when we get more than enough. Don't have a whole lot of characters here, but we're gonna. Oh yeah, okay. So they started a new character deal, and I'm gonna need to step in and actually do whatever event is for her, so we can get her some power. Because right now she is a weakling. She's got nothing to offer, and apparently so didn't. Apparently she didn't either. Okay. But we got other characters that can hopefully deal out a little damage. I don't know by how much. We'll see. They replaced, what's her name, with Saw Gerrera. That's interesting. It's not like we really see Saw Gerrera fighting too much outside of the Clone Wars or Bad Batch. I gotta rewatch Rebels again. I know my wife was watching it a while back, and I kind of forgot about Saw Gerrera ever popping up in there. You know, one thing I was pointing out to my wife, while the rebels that Mon Mothma and Bail Organa kind of helped oversee, you know, they crap all over Saw Gerrera about being an extremist. That may be the case, but here's the way I look at it. He might be an extremist, but in his extremist approach, it keeps the majority of the focus of the Empire on him, so that the other rebels can even stand a chance for a sneak attack. If it wasn't for him drawing attention, they wouldn't be able to pull out some of the sneak maneuvers they've been able to pull off. Of course, once they got rid of Saw Gerrera, then yeah, all the attention went to them. And in hindsight, they kind of needed Saw Gerrera a little more than they gave him credit for, in my opinion. So yeah, these are kind of opening events going towards that. I'm sorry I'm bad with these names. They're new characters to me from the Disney Star Wars generation, Disney's generation of Star Wars. This is actually coming from one aspect of Disney Star Wars I can swallow my pride and actually accept, because they still work the backstories in with it. I don't know what it is about Disney, but when it comes to the pre-A New Hope stories, they work it out just fine. But when it's the post-Return of the Jedi stories, they've rewritten a whole new story that isn't even really Star Wars. If they get to working on any of the stories in between A New Hope to Return of the Jedi, there's one story I really would have loved to see put in the cinematic. It's one that I know many of my generation have wished for since I was a kid, and that's Shadows of the Empire. It's the bridge gap story between The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. It explains how Luke got his new lightsaber. It explains the plan of bringing Han, how 3PO was clueless about Luke's alternate plan of just handing him over to Jabba the Hutt without him knowing. It explains why 3PO was so damn surprised. She's going to be the focus point attention now for the Era quest, so might as well cap her up a bit. We'll need to put focus on the others as well, but she's going to be the lead focus point now. I also kind of wouldn't mind seeing Glove of Darth Vader put in the, if not cinematic form, show-based. That's still a good story right there, too. Really wish they would just redo Book of Boba Fett and go with the Mandalorian armor, because that was a badass trilogy. It really was, and it wasn't written for kids, but the story was in depth. They didn't need to rewrite it with the Book of Boba Fett. They did not need to do that. That was another unnecessary out of Disney. I mean, I appreciate them trying to bring humanity to the Tusken Raiders, but you could already get that from the Young Jedi Knights book series when Luke goes to recruit a Tusken girl to the Jedi, a Force-sensitive Tusken girl. You could already get that just from that story alone. I forget which book in the Young Jedi Knights that was in, but if you read through the Young Jedi Knights book series, one of them, yeah, he kind of gets like a force sensitive clue to go to the Tusken village. I don't recall there being any reluctantness from him about it, but he did go, and he managed to make connection with a youngling, a Tusken youngling girl who was force sensitive. And it wasn't easy to convince them to let her go with them just because of how tribal based they are. But as I recall, he does manage to get their approval and they allow him to recruit her. It was kind of a focus point in one of the books. Maybe about midway through the series. I don't think it was in the early part or the later part. The later part, they started getting some serious attacks coming out of nowhere, which kind of leads into the new Jedi Order series. But that attack wasn't coming from Imperial remnants. It was coming from alien species from outside the Star Wars galaxy, from a whole nother galaxy. But I do need to finish that series because it was kind of hinting clues that there was someone from within the Star Wars galaxy that was kind of inviting them in. There was no suggestion of a Thrawn. There were Grand Moffs that they were dealing with in the Club of Darth Vader books, but I don't recall any of them being named Thrawn. There were others, so. Many of these books that, were books I read as a child. There's some that I repeatedly read over and over just because they're that good, worth reading over and over. Shadows of the Empire, Mandalorian Armor. I mean, if you're reading a book over and over, you got to know the story is worth it. Alright. So we got that knocked out for now. Let's check these guys out. So far we only got 2 tiers open. Not really the strongest of squads. What can we do with IG-11 here? Can we bump him up anymore, level-wise? Because he's of a higher tier than Han and Lando. He's not a high in rarity, but he does have tier abilities. Damn, problem is Han, or that Grief Karga, not Lando. Grief Karga and Han, they are double the rarity than he is. Excuse me. We have full cooperation with Lando in position. Let's give this a try and see what happens. It might not actually be as bad as I'm questioning. I'm hyper focused on the tier levels, but their rarity position also kind of balances them out a little. We just gotta make it through 3 battle waves. Just the other day, I actually finished up reading The Emperor Strikes Back again. I'm gonna get myself back into Return of the Jedi, and I don't know how many times I've read those. But I'm a bit of a bookworm when I'm not gaming. I also got Game of Thrones I'm working on as well. I gotta tell you, the book is so much more in depth than the shows. I mean, the shows are detailed, but damn, the books are just brutally good. There's stuff in the books that's not even in the shows. But same can be said for Star Wars too, even from the Lucas era. Like in The Emperor Strikes Back, in the book, Hobby, the guy that helped track down Han and Luke out in the Hoth snow that morning, he in the book kamikazes himself into an AT-AT walker. Takes it down that way. It kind of upset Luke a bit, but he took down an AT-AT, and we don't get to see that in the movie. That's what I'm telling you. There's a lot more going on in the books than Disney Star Wars fans realize. There's so much more that goes on. There's more to the Luke's training with Yoda. A lot of people pot shot the idea he's only training for a couple hours, couple days, and yeah, Yoda is pushing quick training on him, kind of because he has to. He doesn't really have a whole lot of choice because of the time crunch of dealing with the Empire. But in the book, he does push Luke through a lot more training exercise than what we see in the movie. All right. So next time this comes back around, hopefully we'll be a little more buffed up on our characters. We can knock out Tier 2, and hopefully Tier 3 will be opened up as well. And if we're getting up to level 85 by the time this cycles back around, which could be within a month. I mean, if we're not at 80, player to level 85 in a month, we might have a problem. So, next time that comes around, we should be good. Alright. Yeah, I think we're good for now. In that regards, unlock another Disney character. Like, seriously, like, stormtroopers weren't even part of the Imperial remnants in the books. That's a Disney thing. It was mostly Grand Moffs and other Imperial soldiers, but really don't run into stormtroopers much. If any at all. There we go. Now the next unless you're doing the episode pass, the pay-to-play approach of it, there's those 3 goals. I'm not doing them. But there are other quests that will be revealed. The next one is in 17 hours. So tomorrow, I'll get to see what that one is. Defeat 5 enemies with Colonel Stark. Now, that's a lot requirement. I won't be getting much out of that, but Deidre Mira, that's her name. Okay. Colonel Stark. Do I even have Colonel Stark? Why do I feel like we don't have him? He would be Imperial. No. Seriously, we're going to get this confusing about Imperials. It was never this confusing before Disney. Nuisance. Empire. Just select. Alright, I do not see Colonel Stark. No, I do not. Nope. So we can't do that one. I can't. Unless y'all got him. I sure as hell can't. So I'm gonna stand still with his crazy butt. I don't know why they brought him in as a significant character. He doesn't last long in the stories. He wasn't that significant in the book. Yes, I'm very book-based. Yeah, blah, blah. I'm a nerd. What do you expect? You gotta trust the nerds when they say you're missing stuff. If we had too much muscle in this world, we wouldn't even be bored because the muscle would have burned this place a long time ago. You need the brains to identify when you're about to torch the place or burn yourself. We're over observant. You gotta have the hunters and the gatherers, not just only hunters, because then you got no one putting it together. Alright, promote 5 levels to 5-star. Well, that's a gradual thing. A lot of this is kind of going as we go, happening as we go along. However, there are quests that involves guild work. Like I said. Now, if anyone from my guild leaders and officers are seeing this, I did try to ask if there was an answer. I am so sorry. I probably missed it. By the time I did check, it may have automatically deleted the chat response by the time I did get to it. I can pull this out. I can do certain editings for confidential reasons. I can pull this out. I can kick it out. At least get my main account in. And I'm not trying to be intrusive here. I'm just trying to help put together a walkthrough. Are we in? Let's see if I see myself in here. Yep, there's me. Alright, pull out of that. Now, as I mentioned, we can't get in. For one, we're too low player level to even do that. But then there's raids. There's none happening right now because we need guild tickets. Guild tickets is another factor we got to look into. Hold on. Guild tickets. Guild activities. This is something your guild leader and your guild officers are going to look at, okay? They're going to look at this. They're going to see who is participating, who is contributing, who is not, who is being useless. Apparently, right now, I am being useless only because I'm over here. As soon as I get out of here, I'll get into it. But, as you can see, there's objectives. They're in phases, too, tier phases. But you really need the whole guild getting involved. You need everyone, but everyone's got lives, too. That's another thing that has to be taken into account, understandably. Respectably, understandably. You know, we work, we get sick, we have significant others, we have family. Life is not in this game. It's outside, and it needs our focus. I get it. Hopefully your guild leader gets it. Otherwise, gotta kind of have to question what his life is like if he doesn't. And I'm not saying that to be insulting. It's just, it is something to bear in mind. It's like I mentioned in a previous recording. Like in comparison, in a parallel comparison, for me, someone who's in sober recovery, for my service-related PTSD reasons, where because I have a wife, I have family, I need to be stable I need to find myself an AA sponsor to sponsor me while I'm going through my sobriety to help kind of hold me accountable, stuff like that, you know. But my first sponsor, my first one I ever had, relapsed on me. I've had 3 sponsors just drop off the face of the earth while I was midway working on my my AA steps. And it could be a total letdown. You go into a guild, and I've stepped into guild, and I look at stuff like this. I look at sessions like this, and I'm questioning, is this guild even still alive? I've even thrown it into a chat comment before. Hey, is anyone here? Are we alive? Who's the leader here? Stuff like that. And when you get no response, that's going to speak volume. That's going to tell you you're in a dead guild. Get out, look for one who is going to know you're there, who's going to watch and monitor the guild, not trying to micromanage you, but they're holding the guild accountable, okay? It's essentially like that. You need someone who is keeping the guild going. When there's players not participating, they're going to kick them out. Like right now, after I get done with this, it is in my best interest to jump out of here and do a little work of my own on my main account so that I can show I am a part of this guild. While we are in this, even with this guest account, I need to be showing that I'm a part of the guild. I need to show that I'm contributing, that I'm pulling my weight. You're going to get into a guild, pull your weight. Your life comes first, yes. I'm not saying it doesn't. But you go about a week of not playing, and you come back into the game, don't be surprised if you're seeing yourself kicked out. Because it's going to happen. Because the guild leader, even while he might have a life outside of the game, he's also committing himself to help provide an alternative distraction for people who need a place to go, as an escape from the real life. And that's just one of many examples. There's many, many reasons. There's competitive players. Guild leaders are going to cater to them. They're going to cater to competitive players. They're going to cater to, if you get a guild leader who isn't pushing for competitiveness, just simple leisure play, but is he going to want someone just completely absent? Probably not, because it does affect the guild. You can't earn tickets. You can't earn the tickets you need to be able to activate the raids. They need tickets that is earned by the participation of the guild group entirety, the entirety of the guild, pulling their weight together so that we can even do a raid. You do a raid, there is rewards, there's benefits that goes to your character buildup, your fleet buildups, your player level buildups. You want to go up and player level 85 is the highest you're going to go. But you're going to continue powering up as you work on characters. Look at how many characters we have. It is an abundance of them. So we really need, if you're going to get into a guild, make sure you are pulling your weight. Whether it is a guild that is catering to you for competitive reasons, or whether it's a guild that is catering for leisure reasons. Whichever direction it is. You have a life outside the game. I do too. My guild leader does too. My guild officers do too. We all do. And if, for those who don't acknowledge that, okay. Anyways, but, like for me, with PTSD, sobriety, I'm trying to keep myself out of trouble, and I'm also trying to make sure I'm not overwhelming myself for my life. I need a little momentary escape. Well, there's this game. I love this game, but part of the game requirement is building your characters up. Some of the best ways is getting involved in a guild. You're going to get into a guild, be a part of the guild. Even at the leisure approach, just contribute something. If you're competitive, I don't have to tell you what to do. You know what to do. So that's just in a nutshell. Not trying to come off preachy, but as someone who has been a guild leader himself before, you get players that come in, they don't do a damn thing, and you're trying to cater to other players who do care about their extracurricular activities going on in the game, and they can't build up because the guild is going nowhere because you got asset players in the guild taking up space where an active player could be filling in and actually contributing. The guild leader, I've had to kick players out, and they come back at me about 2 weeks, a month later. They're like, "Why did you kick me out of the guild?" It's like, "Where have you been for the last 2 weeks or a month?" And that's why, I needed players that was keeping the guild alive. You weren't. And I can let you come back in, but if this happens again, I'm going to have to kick you back out. And that wasn't me being an ass. It was me looking after the other players in the guild. That's basically what it comes down to. For whatever reason the leader and the officers are running the guild for either competitive reasons or leisure reasons, and this is not to be preachy, it's just don't be surprised that this is what's going to happen. And, again, life does come first. Mine does. I'm sure my guild leaders does. Yours does. So that's no reason why. It's a reason why I don't need to be getting preachy. But I'm passionate here because I know just how annoying being a guild leader can be from players who are just taking up space and don't understand why in a chat blowing up my chat box, why the hell are you kicking me out? Kind of crap. When I can see what's going on. I'm going to tell you right now, the leaders and the officers, they can see a lot more of what's happening than what the guild members are allowed to see. So they're seeing other factors as well. That's just guild in a nutshell. You have the guild wars, or you have the territory wars, territory battles. Those alternate on their own. Stay on top of those. Participate with them. Stay active with your daily quests, your journey quests, your character build-ups, because it pays to the guild. And the guild gets to do guild raids. And when you get to do guild raids, you participate in those guild raids, you're going to be rewarded for it. It'll pay. You get back what you put into it. When asked to go 1 mile, then go 2. That's just a little proverbs there. And it's not, this is obviously a video game, I get it. But if you're going to commit yourself to a game as an extracurricular activity for whatever reason you need it for, and as an escape from the life that does need to come first, don't forget why you're in a guild. And if you're consistent on a day-to-day quest, actively playing this day-to-day, then you don't need to be reminded. And you are doing what you need to do. You won't even notice, honestly. You honestly won't even notice what you're contributing to the guild because of how active you are. Anyways, let's move on. Okay, so we needed more speed mods, health mods, and potency mods, right? Let's get some potency mods. Let's get some speed mods. Yeah. And let's get some health mods. Honestly, I might go 2 rounds on that, because that is a very popular one. Health and speed are like, no joke, freaking popular. And I'm using up the last of my crystals, but we've already done our daily quest. There's not a whole lot left to do. And my game is freezing up. Thanks Thank you for that. Anyways, I do need to check in with my main account, get my dailies in. But I also want to make sure this account is also contributing as well. If there's the off chance that my guild leaders and officers are not objecting to this. So, if not, then I'll just have to find a new guild. Hello. All right. Well, work on character build-ups. I'm going to put an end to this. I'm going to go to my main account, do my daily quests over there. I'll check back over here. I may have to unfreeze this because it clearly glitched. But anyways, I will see y'all in the next video, because this has been about 3/4 of an hour. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, comments, questions down below, and I will see y'all in probably tomorrow's videos. May the force be with you. Thank you for following and supporting the channel. Thank you.